There are a number of common mistakes that you can make in selection statements. One is using a logically incorrect condition, such as number less than 5 or 6. As we've seen, if you have a variable called number, and you have an expression like this, number less than 5, that's either true or false, we don't know based on the value of number, but on the right-hand side, 6 is true, and so that expression is always going to be true regardless of the value of the variable number. So if you put that in an if or an if-else statement and you think that you're going to get true if number is less than 5 or number is less than 6, you're not. You would really have to spell all of that out, number less than 5 or number less than 6. Another common pitfall is using a single equal sign instead of two equal signs for equality. So remember that one equal sign is assignment. You need two equal sign for equality. Putting a space in the keyword else if, so it's all one word, no space in there. Not using quotes when comparing a string variable to a string, such as letter equals y. If you just said letter equals y, that would mean letter equal to another variable called y. So you really need to put quotes around it to say the character y. Another thing is writing conditions that are more complicated than they need to be. It's not a mistake, but it's just more than you need. So for example, if you said if x less than 5 equals 1, instead of just if x less than 5. So x less than 5, that's going to be true or false. You don't need to say equals 1 if you want that expression to be true if x is less than 5. There are a number of programming style guidelines that you should use. You should use indentation to show the structure of a script or a function. In particular, an actions in an if statement should be indented. The actions in an if clause should be indented. Another thing is when the else clause isn't needed, use an if statement. So you don't always have to have an if-else statement. Sometimes it's just an if statement. If something is true, you want to perform an action. Otherwise, you don't need to do anything, so you don't need to have an else clause. Also, when using the menu function, make sure that the program handles the situation when the user clicks on the red X on the menu box rather than pushing one of the buttons. So it should handle that basically as an error to make sure that something happens if the user clicks on the red X rather than one of the menu buttons.